Every year, more than 300 million people around the world consume narcotic substances. According to the latest United Nations report, drug addiction has increased by 35% over the past 15 years. The problem is not limited to addiction alone. The illegal drug trade generates financial flows equivalent to a national military budget. These funds finance militant groups, strengthen smuggling operations, and provoke social crises in affected regions. Meanwhile, addiction claims hundreds of thousands of lives every year. In recent years, European Union countries have introduced stricter control procedures. Operations are being carried out across countries such as Germany, France, and the Netherlands, including routes originating in Eastern Europe. In 2024 alone, more than 300 tons of illegal narcotic were seized at European ports. The primary objective of European drug networks is to reach Western markets. To stop this flow, transit countries, including strategically positioned states like Azerbaijan, are being called upon to cooperate closely. Today, the world is entering a new phase in the fight against drugs. Addiction has taken a more dangerous form, and trafficking networks have evolved into a global system. One of the main barriers confronting this system is Azerbaijan, a strategic transit country between East and West. Positioned between Asia and Europe, Azerbaijan lies along major global trade routes. These routes are used not only for legal cargo, but also for the transport of illicit substances. Drug trafficking remains the most dangerous activity along these corridors.
Mostly seized drugs during this year, as I said, was heroin and marijuana. And most trafficking operations originate from markets in Afghanistan and intended for Western European countries. In general, the final destinations of these illicit drugs include Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, Estonia, and other Western countries. Traffickers often use the so-called Balkan route and attempting to cross our borders through southern checkpoints such as Astara, Bilasuvar, Julfa, and others. Recently, we have we intercepted major smuggling attempts involving 450 kilograms of heroin being transported by train from Iran to Estonia. And this heroin was concealed among the goods to appear as a cement concealment. It was about 3,250 bags, and it was labeled as Zikon.
Substances originating from Afghanistan and other regional drug production centers move towards European markets. Along this route, Azerbaijan is not only a transit country, but also a key point for monitoring and prevention. Every measure taken here has a direct impact on Europe's security. If these routes are not disrupted, illicit drugs become cheaper, more accessible, and more widespread across European societies.
Throughout 2025, as State Customs Committee, we have seized more than 1,600 kilograms of various narcotics. Primarily, it was heroin and marijuana. As Azerbaijan continued to develop as a major transport hub, the smuggling cases attempts also increased in comparison with last year.
Narcotic substances are primarily smuggled towards Europe via the regional transit route through Iran. Azerbaijan sits directly along this corridor. In recent years, pressure along this route has increased, and Azerbaijani customs authorities have established a high level of control. Combating drugs at the borders requires advanced technology and highly trained personnel. Customs officers prevent narcotics trafficking through risk analysis, technical inspection tools, and service dogs. Every seizure represents the interception of a threat bound for Europe.
intelligence-led targeting, border control, increasing reliance on risk and profiling and intelligence, including cargo manifests and customs declarations, information from international law enforcement partners, Interpol, Europol, CEPOL, drug sniffing dogs, X-ray scanners, behavior observation and interviewing. Border officers are trained in behavioral indicators of smuggling, stress or deception cues, in-depth secondary interview when needed, physical inspections, manual luggage inspection, vehicle searches, cargo unloading and inspection, and mail and package inspection.
Since 2024, January, the State Customs Committee has been operating new AI-based analysis system called ARAS, Automated Risk Analysis System. And this system enables us to identify high-risk cargo and passengers before they reach the inspection stage. International cooperation also remains indispensable to our mission. Azerbaijan actively operates in joint operations, information sharing platforms, and we maintain close collaboration with our neighboring countries and global institutions such as World Customs Organization, Europol, CEPOL, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, and real data sharing and coordinated risk profiling, monitoring new regional trends enable us to act more efficiently and proactively in combating with illegal drug trafficking.
The goal is clear: for Azerbaijan to be recognized not as a transit route, but as a security barrier. In recent cases, drugs are increasingly concealed within legal cargo or personal belongings. Common methods include hidden compartments in vehicles, mixing drugs with food or construction materials, false bottom suitcases, and modified fuel tanks. Criminal groups constantly change their methods, underlining the need for advanced technology, regular training, and close international cooperation.
Control along the southern border of Azerbaijan differs from the other directions, primarily due to the higher risk level and the intensity of illicit trafficking routes in this region. The southern axis is part of major international narcotics transit corridors, Balkan route, so border procedures here are more complex and layered.
Azerbaijan also participates in information exchange as part of international operations. The aim of this fight is not only to protect the border, but also to disrupt the global activities of drug networks.
The seizure of a particularly large amount of heroin worth more than $90 million on the black market by our customs authorities on November 14 of this year is a clear example of these efforts. A customs inspection was conducted based on operational information regarding wagon carrying goods from Islamic Republic of Iran to the Republic of Estonia, transiting through the territory of the Republic of Azerbaijan.
The fight against drug addiction does not stop at the borders. The spread of narcotics within the country undermines social and moral stability. At this stage, the battle is taking place on the streets, in neighborhoods, and within families.
If you look at the statistics, in 2025 alone, in the first 11 months of the year, around 7,000 criminal cases, drug-related criminal cases were detected by police authorities, and more than 5 tons of narcotic substances and psychotropic substances were seized from the illegal markets. As you know, drug abuse is a global challenge and it negatively affects the country's public health and public safety. It affects people from all social backgrounds and in general has serious consequences on the society.
The country is not only a transit route, but also carries out a systematic fight against the spread of narcotics within its borders. Drug addiction is not merely a law enforcement issue. It poses a threat to public health, family stability, and the future of the state. Combating this threat is the responsibility of everyone.
If we compare the statistics with the previous years, we can see that there is a decrease in the number of detected cases and offenders. However, there is an increase in the amount of drugs seized from the illegal markets. The last one, but not least important one, is the raising public awareness when it comes to drug abuse. As I mentioned, working with the society, with the community is very important, and that is exactly what our officers are actively doing throughout the year. They are actively cooperating with local educational institutions. They are using different media and digital platforms to promote drug-free and healthy lifestyle.
Drugs have posed a threat to the world for centuries. Yet, the determination of states, intelligence operations, law enforcement activities, and border security form the strongest weapons in this battle.
Azerbaijan is strategically located between Asia and Europe, positioned at the crossroads of global trade routes. In addition to legitimate cargo, these routes are also abused for the transportation of illicit substances. Drug trafficking remains one of the most dangerous risks associated with such misuse.